If anyone didn't know, recently I sat down and had a debate, unexpected, by the way, with a person who I found out was a huge figure in the liberal debate genre. Um, I had heard of this person, did not even didn't know he was as big as he was, as he is. You know me, I'm a conservative, and I've argued with my fair share of liberals online, right? And I never get on the internet and say, hey, let me see what the liberal side of the internet is talking about. As far as liberals are concerned, they lost the presidential election. They couldn't handle it, so they descended into insanity, right? Um, there's an old saying: it's not the way, it's not whether you win or lose, but the way you play the game. And liberal people, Democrats, and the independents and the fake independents who are really just Democrats, thank you. They show us time and time again that they cannot handle they cannot handle a loss. And what's so sad about that is they lose so much because their arguments and their positions are so asinine that no one with two brain cells would actually get on board with them. And I don't think that the situation with Stephen Bonnell, aka Destiny, is any different. This is what he looks like, just in case you don't know. Now, I've heard all types of things about this guy. What I'll tell you is when I went to his event, where I was pulled up on stage to debate him, spur of the moment, he was a nice guy. He was a gentleman. I think that his arguments are bad faith, but as far as just his character, as concerning him being a host, he's a good guy. He's a decent guy. But when you look at the situation developing in American politics, it's almost horrifying to think that there's an entire generation of people who are looking to this man and another, in my opinion, absolute idiot, Adam Mockler, a 22-year-old YouTuber who basically gets to go on all types of political media shows, not because he's particularly knowledgeable in the area of politics, but because he gets a lot of views on social media from a bunch of people who are looking for an echo chamber where they can go anonymously hate Donald Trump and conservatives. This is the age we are living in. You don't have to have any solutions. You don't have to have any real qualifiers. All you need to do is get a certain amount of views on your channel. And all of a sudden, you are now granted access to spaces that really should only be occupied by people who, at the very least, have a comprehensive knowledge of what's going on in our political sphere. But guys, what I will give credit to Destiny for is he exposed the world to me, or exposed, me to the world in a lot of ways. Our debate clearly made some noise because we were featured in a New York Times article. Damn it. Hold on. This damn thing. I'm trying to show you. We basically were featured in an article, a New York Times article that was covering the rise of the Democrat debater. And I'm not trying to be too boring, but it's really hard to make liberals fun because pretty much everyone knows what comes with the territory when you're dealing with the radical left. I'm trying to get to our article. Let me see if I can get there with this one. Okay. Oh, I know what I could do. Okay. So New York Times wants you to pay, but we got time to share this really quick, I believe. Okay. So here we go. Debate shows are having, basically it reads where you can't see it. Debate shows are having a moment. Here come the Democrats. They don't. The New York Times wants you to sign up for their crap so bad that they won't even let you get through without a paywall of some sort. But I think I once had a New York Times account, so maybe they'll let me through. Continue without subscribing. That's what I want to do. Okay, cool. Okay, so they don't. This wasn't big enough for them to put it behind a paywall, so we're good. Okay, so I was able to. Come on, guys, what the hell is going on? See, this is why I hate the New York Times. It's so funny with me that to me that they talk about socialism, free healthcare, free this, free that, but the whole time that they talk about it, they're capitalizing. Because I'm trying to show you this article, and they're literally like, you got to pay us $1 a week to get to it. It's just a bunch of bull crap. No, because I read it earlier. And I didn't have to subscribe to it. So I don't know if they're just like, you only get one chance to read it or something. But I guess I'm going to have to. Subscribe to it. I was subscribed to the New York Times. But I stopped following them because they were doing a lot of like Trump bashing and stuff. It was really weak. I didn't like that at all. I just felt like if you're covering the presidential election, I feel like you shouldn't be bashing one side or the other. I think you should be fair, and I believe that you should, give both sides fair coverage. But it was basically proven that Trump received like 90-something% negative media coverage from media outlets like the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, etc. Guys, bear with me. I'm subscribing to this right now. Damn it. Bear with me. Don't go anywhere. Hold on. Freak. There's just a lot of crap going on right here. They want me to, they're sending us code or something. For all right, cool. Whatever. Guys, please let me know if the sound is okay. I want to make sure you're not getting any like feedback, any crazy static or anything, because I might be getting a little bit of static. All right, let me know you're not. Let me know if you're getting static. Might be my cell phone. Okay, so I think we're good. Okay, New York Times. They forced us. Okay, good. We're good. Thank goodness. All right, I got it. Salute, sticks and stuff. Okay, we're good, guys. Look at the sacrifices I make. Resubscribe. Okay, so this article is entitled "Debate Shows Are Having a Moment. Here Come the Democrats," right? So I'll read a little bit from this, and then I'll just give my take on this whole thing. Guys, the New York Times, they try to act like they're bipartisan or they're unbiased, but I mean, we all live in the real world. We all know that New York is New York. If they weren't a bit leaning towards the left, no one in New York would buy it because New York is crazy with the liberal crap. But okay, so it says on a recent Saturday night, more than 200 people crammed into a Los Angeles studio to watch Stephen Bonnell, known online as the progressive streamer Destiny, debate supporters of President Trump. Mind you, everyone, these were not Trump supporters. Everyone there was a Destiny fan. And the people who got on stage were actually people who had bought the tickets that were for people who wanted to debate Destiny, because the tickets for the general audience were sold out. So for like 30 something bucks, you can sit in the audience. For 50 bucks or something, you could get on stage and debate Destiny. Okay. So they said, oh, well, the general admission tickets ran out, so we bought these. So when people were getting on stage, they were fans of Destiny. They were agreeing with him. They were fanning out. The attendees, who each paid $39 to be there, grew excited when a behavioral therapist in a Trump t-shirt took stage to criticize the far left as hypocritical and fragmented. The only mistake the president ever made, he argued, was conceding the 2020 election. Now, you know that the articles and stuff are written in bad faith when you make a joke and then they try to portray that as you making a serious statement. When you do something like that, you're literally grasping at straws. When I said that, it was a joke. I laughed. People in the audience laughed. It was just a joke. Trump rightfully conceded the 2020 election. He lost, whether we think it was fair or not. He lost on paper, and he did the right thing to leave and peacefully allow power to transition to the winner. No one's going to argue that. It's the law of the land. The room groaned loudly. Then Mr. Bonnell, who has 850,000 subscribers on YouTube, methodically went to work on his opponent, calmly cataloging actions by Mr. Trump that he categorized as errors and abject failures, right? Now, notice how they put this, and it's exactly what I was telling you. They have to give the prerequisite of the qualifier. Oh, he has 850,000 subscribers on YouTube. Guys, Kamala Harris has millions of followers on social media, right? They don't know, she doesn't even know how to string a sentence together. Think about this. Kamala Harris has millions of followers on social media, and this woman cannot string a sentence together. Guys, Welvin has millions of people following him on social media, if you know who Welvin is. Followers on social media doesn't mean you're qualified or intelligent or an authority on anything. You just have a presence on social media. That's it. You just have a big presence. Dude, you have people who are absolute idiots who have millions of followers on social media. Island Boys come to mind. But this is what politics has come to. This is what political discussion has come to. Oh, you're qualified because you got a bunch of followers. So then he says he methodically went to work on his opponent, calmly cataloging actions by Mr. Trump that he categorized as errors and abject failures. The audience, mostly young and male, and decidedly left-wing, switched to cheering and laughing, thirsty for the action, like a crowd at an Ultimate Fighting Championship match. For years, the political right has leaned hard into debate videos, producing carefully staged contests. Now these are staged, right? See how they do? Carefully staged contests, pitting conservative stars against liberals, and then clipping moments when their side came out on top. Because online algorithms favor outrage, those clips often go viral, reaching audiences that may not have engaged with other kinds of political content. What I would like to say here is this. When a video is produced, anyone can clip the video. Oh yeah, Wop Funk. The audience was totally left wing. But what I'm saying is when you produce a clip, anyone can comment on that clip. Anyone can take that clip. They can take the video, clip it the way they want. Destiny took our video and he made it look like, oh, he just schooled me by clipping the video. But if you had watched the entire debate, Destiny lost that debate and it wasn't even close. He literally, when I would make a good point, he didn't have a comeback. He would just start talking super fast in an effort to make it seem like he knew what he was talking about. And what I learned later on, because a couple of conservative people, a couple of conservative YouTubers, they hit me up and they were like, dude, you cooked Destiny, but he just does this like fast talking thing to make it seem like he knows what he's talking about when he really doesn't. And you know what I want to do really quick? I want to give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. Shit, we here. We ain't got nowhere to go. Oh, shoot. Okay, so it is my cell phone. It's my cell phone giving interference. Don't trip. I realize that. Okay, so I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And I actually went to, for once was prepared. I found the video. So Destiny recently sat down with a guy by the name of Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson. So if you look at the most viral part of the video where they spoke, I want to show you. Here in this video, Destiny is trying to argue that Trump is doing all this stuff he does so that he can centralize power. Because if you don't know, Destiny's biggest talking point, because he just hates Trump, is that Trump led an insurrection on January 6th, right? So Andrew Wilson asked a very basic question. Why would Trump have to lead an insurrection to centralize power when, as president of the United States, he's already the most powerful person in the world? And Destiny doesn't have an answer for it, so he starts fast talking. And I'm going to show you where. Shout out to Warren Smith, Secret Scholar Society. That's where I got the video from. But I want you to look at this. This is what Destiny does.
Bare skin now, while it's 60% off. Text Warren to 36912. So Andrew's just now tearing apart really the two pieces of his definition.
Let me ask you a question. Is the President of the United States the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States?
I believe so.
You believe so?
Unless something's changed.
Do they have control of the entire military apparatus, essentially, as the Commander-in-Chief?
As the Commander-in-Chief, yes.
The President cannot declare war. Only the Congress can. Hitler could, and he also had his opponents assassinated.
Yeah.
Right. So Trump is a king. Trump is a dictator. Trump wants to centralize power, not realizing that the entire structure of our federal government is one that is based on checks and balances. One wing of the government can't really do too much without the other wing. The Congress has a check on the military authority of the president. The president has a check on the legislative authority of Congress. Congress can vote on a bill, but the president has the right to veto the bill for no real reason other than, hey, I just don't like the direction which the wind is blowing today, right? He doesn't need a reason. Now, the president could send the Marines in, but the president cannot send the United States military into any conflict or declare war on any country without the authorization of Congress. That's called checks and balances. So when people start these arguments, Trump's a dictator and Trump's going to do this, do that. What they're doing, like Destiny, is they're playing on your ignorance. They hope that you don't know how your country actually works so that they can scare you into continually watching them make up lies about the president. So let's finish this.
Is that fascist?
No.
So they have basically almost unilateral control by your own metrics of the most mighty military on planet Earth. That's not accumulating enough power, centralized control to one person. Military on by your own metrics of the most mighty military.
No.
So they have
Assassinated.
Yeah, is that fascist?
No.
So they have basically almost unilateral control by your own metrics of the most mighty military on planet Earth. That's not accumulating enough power, centralized control to one person. It's the fact that he tried to slay some fucking electors. Really?
He looks far less confident than he usually does. And he's going to resort to the artificial game of trying to maintain the frame through false confidence, as though he can talk fast enough and long enough, it will create the perception of an argument.
Now, everyone knows Destiny does this fast talking crap when he's losing an argument. He starts just rambling off, hoping to get a viral moment by just saying anything. And when he's in front of an audience that favors him, they cheer and they celebrate because they know he doesn't know what he's talking about. But to them, that's him winning, right? It's kind of like when you argue with an ignorant person in public or wherever. They're just going to start going off the handle, flying off the handle. They're going to start incoherently spewing words at a rate so fast that you really can't get a word in. And that's Destiny's debate style. But this is the left's leadership.
So the president being the commander-in-chief is specifically laid out in the Constitution. That's an authority granted to him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's fascist about that.
Well, because you said it's ultra power. It's this idea of having,
didn't say anything about
central
the
power.
military.
If you have the central power,
I didn't ever bring that up for him. But
if you have the central power
yeah.
of the most mighty military on planet Earth and the codes to the largest nuclear armament on planet Earth, you already have all of the central power, bro.
Andrew's point here is that this is not just about centralized power, which negates part of Destiny's argument. And it's a large part. It's half his argument.
Really?
Yeah.
How do the nuclear codes help you direct your Department of Justice?
Okay, I'm sorry. Is he the commander-in-chief of the United States Armed Forces?
Are you just arguing that he's the commander? I already agree with you. I don't know why you keep arguing.
What I'm arguing to you is
I'm asking you, how does the commander-in-chief use the military
to make?
Make,
it's your claim.
I can ask whatever you want
about your claim,
so
and your claim is
how does that make him control the DOJ? How does the military help him control the DOJ?
Back up.
And Andrew's point.
Okay, so basically, Destiny argued a brainless point. He said, Donald Trump is a fascist. And then when Andrew Wilson started actually breaking down how the government is actually structured to prove that this idea that Donald Trump and the people in power are fascists, Destiny literally conceded, no, that's not fascism. But this is what he does. He will concede a point to you, but then he'll start rambling because it almost like resets the brains of his audience, right? It literally like they'll start just cheering absolutely nothing. You make a coherent point. You're talking like a regular pace. Destiny is like, it almost sounded like his voice was sped up on that video and nothing he said made any sense. But this is what they do. This is the left. Incoherent rambling is now being presented as scriptural rhetoric. Like this is something that everyone needs to hear. It just makes no sense whatsoever. He even did it to me. And I was just kind of looking at the audience like, are you guys serious right now? You guys are really cheering for the nonsense gobbledygook this guy just said? Back to the article. Few exemplify the power of this format like Charlie Kirk, the right-wing activist who earned a reputation as a free speech warrior with his college campus debates, even as he pushed Republican talking points and, as the title of his YouTube videos proclaimed, roasted, destroyed, demolished, and dunked on countless woke libs. Guys, it's inarguable. Charlie Kirk did exactly that. But you know what Charlie Kirk did not have to do to get to smoke the liberal debaters? He didn't have to fast talk. He didn't have to make up lies. He didn't have to throw out stupid, ignorant, gaslighting statements like, oh, the president and Congress are all just a bunch of fascists. He literally just went based on the facts. He literally just went based on facts, and he dismantled people who were arguing based on feelings. Now, this doesn't mean those people are dumb or they're not smart or they're unintelligent. It's just, unfortunately, when you argue based on how you feel, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose the argument to someone who is arguing with facts. Because feelings are fleeting. They can change in an instant. And usually when you're going into a situation emotionally charged, you haven't thought through your conclusions. You're just really kind of like flying by the seat of your pants. Okay, let me finish this. Now progressives are trying to get a bigger foothold in this world, hoping they too can use debates to rack up millions of views on social media, draw fans to live events like Mr. Bonnell's anti-Trump tour, which sold out in a half dozen cities this fall, and appeal to potential voters. Although a handful of left-wing voices have participated in the debates for some time, few, if any, have had the same reach as their conservative counterparts. So the New York Times here, they basically concede the fact that the left wing, they can't get the same type of engagement from their audience in the debate content. But why? No one wants to watch their side lose. No one wants to watch their side lose. And if you look at the liberals, they're constantly losing these debates. Charlie Kirk would cook like 30 liberal college students a day in debates. No cell phone, no notes. He's literally just sitting there holding a microphone, just systematically dismantling every assertion that they make. Guys, when someone's able to do that to like an entire college full of kids, I'm talking about, these are intelligent human beings. These people have like 4.5 GPAs and stuff like that. These people are like engineers, doctors, future lawyers. When they're getting dismantled the way Charlie Kirk was crushing them, it's not the person who's arguing that's the problem. It's the position that they are arguing from that is the problem. It's not them so much as it is, dude, you're fighting a losing battle. You could put Michael Jordan on a team full of midgets. It doesn't matter how good Michael Jordan is. He's not beating an NBA team. It could be the worst NBA team on earth. He's still going to lose because he's at a decided disadvantage. Fundamentally, he's in a disadvantaged position. That's what's going on with the left. And that's why they don't participate in debates. And when they do, they end up getting cooked. And the New York Times, because they're a liberal rag, they're trying to like make it look like, hey, the Democrats have built up like this tough, powerful team of debaters. And when they say this team of debaters, they're talking about 2 people, Destiny, Stephen Bonnell, and Adam Mockler, a 22-year-old YouTuber who basically goes on liberal media channels and tries to get a gotcha moment on conservatives. That's it. And we're going to talk about him in a second. But I want to read a little bit more of this article. So even traditional media has been trying to get in on the frenzy for combat. Barry West, the new editor-in-chief of CBS News, reportedly plans to bring a debate-style program to the network this month. C-SPAN, which is run by a former producer of the famed CNN debate program, Crossfire, premiered a debate program called Ceasefire. The first episode featured the longtime Democrat insider Rahm Emanuel against former Vice President Mike Pence. Conflict attracts attention, and we live in an attention economy, said Adam Mockler, a 23-year-old contributor to the left-leaning Midas Touch network. Mr. Mockler, who has 1.7 million subscribers on YouTube, has offered himself up for the open role of an adversarial, sometimes inflammatory online star for the Democrats. He regularly argues with conservatives on CNN and Piers Morgan Uncensored, and took the stage on News Nation this month to debate the spokesman for Turning Point USA, the organization co-founded by Mr. Kirk, about the roots of political violence in this country. So here goes Adam Mockler, and for some reason, this kid is able to get on debate stages to argue for the Democrats and the left wing of the government. He gets to argue for them, not because he knows what he's talking about. He gets to argue for them because he has 1.7 million subscribers on social media. That's it. That's the only reason. Not because he's knowledgeable, not because he has good points, good ideas, but because he has 1.7 million subscribers on social media. He gets to get on, he gets to get into these spaces and basically hunt for gotcha moments that keep people watching his channel. Now, I want to show you this. I'm gonna give you an idea of the type of content this guy produces. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. We're just gonna go in on one of his videos, and everything is just it's like delusions of grandeur. Oh, I cooked this CNN final boss. But I want you to see what actually happened. And this is why in the title, I put, these people cannot save the Democrat Party. That's what they think. They honestly think that this guy is going to save the Democrat Party. But this Democrat Party is beyond saving. As a matter of fact, if the Democrat Party actually recovers from this position they're in, I'm going to literally be like, the Republicans were in on it, and I'm going to have to become an independent or something like that, or just get out of American politics. Because they've dug a hole so deep for themselves based on bad ideas that they continue to cling on to. Guys, if career Democrats cannot win debates based on the facts about the positions of their party, how is some 22-year-old kid on YouTube going to do it? But I want you to see what's going on. So I want to show you this first and foremost. So we're on his YouTube channel, right? Look what he puts. I defeated the MAGA final boss live on CNN. So that's just sensationalism. But does he really defeat the MAGA final boss? When I watched the video, I didn't see him defeat anybody. I saw four liberals gang up on one conservative, and then Adam Mockler barely said anything until he found a gotcha moment and tried to use that to make it seem like he beat Scott Jennings in a debate. Tell me if you see what I see.
Can't you just take responsibility for it?
Oh,
on the left.
me?
You literally said that.
Listen, let me finish.
And then you agreed with it.
You want to know what I said? I said Donald Trump created this environment over the past decade. You sat here and said, I need to take responsibility. I'm a 22-year-old YouTuber. You hold me to a higher standard than the man that
I'm
we
holding
just
you to your
listened
standard of your punditry.
Donald
Your
Trump was
punditry
just
is that Trump's
vomiting
at fault.
vitriol out of his mouth about how the other party is weak and evil. And he just said the party of hate, evil, and Satan. You blind yourself to Trump was just vomiting vitriol here and said, I need to take responsibility. I'm a 22-year-old created this environment over the past decade. You sat here and said, I need to take responsibility. I'm a 22-year-old YouTuber. You hold me to a higher standard than the man that
I'm
we
holding
just
you to
listened
your standard of your punditry.
Donald Trump.
Now, this guy literally said, I'm a 22-year-old YouTuber, and you're trying to hold me to a standard that you don't hold the president of the United States to? No. Scott Jennings answered him perfectly. He said, no, I'm holding you accountable for the things that you're saying. No one's expecting you to take the hit for the whole party. But the things that you're saying, that you heard other people say and now you're regurgitating it. If someone says, hey man, we need to go kill the president, and then you start running around saying, let's kill the president, let's kill the president. When the police arrest you, they're not going to arrest you because of what the other person said that you heard that from. They're going to arrest you from what you're saying, for what you're saying. And this is why I'm telling you, as soon as this guy was called out and Scott Jennings attempted to hold this guy accountable for what he said, his first deflection was, oh, I'm just a 22-year-old YouTuber. Think about that. He immediately retreated to that. I'm just a 22-year-old YouTuber. Well, bro, why are you online making people think that you're actually a brave individual who is willing to be held accountable for the shit that you're saying? He doesn't care about that. All he cares about is giving these people a viral clip, or a clip that they think is like important, so they can watch it by the millions, and then he gets the YouTube AdSense or ad revenue dollars. That is literally it. But these are the people that the left wing of our government are putting up. They're platforming these people. They're pedestalizing these people and presenting these people as the savior of their party. Hey guys, I'll see you guys in 2028. I'm thinking it's going to be a landslide again. Let's tap into this a little more.
Was just vomiting vitriol out of his mouth about how the other party is weak and evil. And he just said, the party of hate, evil, and Satan. You blind yourself to that, and you're focusing on a 22-year-old YouTuber.
Hey, everyone, Adam.
And yeah, Donald Trump is right. It is the party of hate and evil and Satan. If you look at the things that they're trying to push to do, these things are satanic. If you look at the way they come after children with these ridiculous ideas in this indoctrination, yes, it's satanic. But these people don't want to argue the facts. They don't want to argue the policies and why grown men and women are supporting them. They just want to argue the person, not what the person's saying, but who's saying it. That's their biggest issue.
Mockler here. This is going to be a good video. I just wrapped up my New York Media Week with one final debate on CNN, and I faced off against MAGA commentator and Trump's friend, Scott Jennings. So I urge you guys to watch until the end. I urge you guys to follow the Adam Mockler feed, and once again, thank you all.
So he says, I faced off against this guy, Scott Jennings. Now watch as you watch this video. Adam Mockler didn't say anything. All it is the other liberals at the table. They're ganging up on Scott Jennings, and Adam Mockler sitting there waiting for a gotcha moment.
Series of events that took place here. We have to actually be clear about what happened, right? He tried to pressure Eric Siebert at the Eastern District of Virginia to pursue this prosecution. He did not. The U.S. prosecutors there said they did not see enough evidence. So he forces him out. He publicly declares to Pam Bondi, you need to target these political enemies, specifically labeling James Comey. And then, right after that, installs Lindsay Halligan, a former insurance lawyer with no prosecutorial experience, to go in there. And then within days, Comey's indicted even after rank and file prosecutors, they gave her a declination memo that said, this is why we don't think there's enough evidence. So I don't think this is just the process playing out. I think this is Donald Trump explicitly abusing his power and directing the prosecution of a political enemy.
You said we have to be very clear about what happened. And then you left out the most critical part, where a prosecutor has to go into a grand jury, present the evidence, and make the case why charges are warranted. And the grand jury has to agree with that. In this case, they did. Now, I don't know if he'll be convicted or not, but you can't leave out and deny that there's a critical step where average, ordinary Americans get put in a room and they ultimately have to decide, does a case go or does it not go? And then they will decide whether you're guilty or whether you're not guilty. That is an important part of the process that he cannot really alter or change.
Just worth noting,
Now, what they're arguing is whether or not Donald Trump is weaponizing the DOJ against his political opponents. They're trying to say that Donald Trump bringing up the names of certain people and then those people being indicted means that he's weaponizing the DOJ against his opponents, right? And they're trying to say that, oh, this is the same thing that Donald Trump accused Joe Biden of, right? And Scott Jennings, he knows that their arguments are all in bad faith. So he's just kind of making these dumb faces because it's very obvious that Donald Trump is not weaponizing the DOJ against his political opponents. These people have committed crimes. We all knew they were committing crimes under Biden. The only thing was Joe Biden was protecting these people from being held accountable for the crimes they were committing. And when you want to indict somebody, they have to first, the prosecutor has to take the evidence to a grand jury of civilians. And they have to decide if there's enough evidence there to then indict this person. So even if Donald Trump did say, hey, I want the DOJ to indict this person, the prosecutors of the DOJ will still have to take that evidence to a jury of this person's peers, right? And that jury will have to decide, yes, go ahead with the prosecution. No, don't go ahead with the prosecution. Understand that. So what they're calling into question is not really Donald Trump. What they're calling into question is the grand jury, but they don't want to say that because if you look at the grand jury, it would easily kill their argument. So they're going to hyper focus on Trump. Mind you, when Biden was truly weaponizing the DOJ against his political opponents, right? These people said nothing. Oh, it's fair and it's proof that the American justice system is working. My only question to this panel, because somebody said, I don't want this smoke. Guys, listen, I would destroy all these people effortlessly because they are arguing bad faith. And that's why Abby Phillip has to interrupt before Scott Jennings can respond. So this is the way it works. The black bald head guy talks, Scott's about to respond, Abby Phillip interrupts. Then the other lady talks. Scott's about to respond. Abby Phillips interrupts. Then Adam Mockler says something. Abby Phillips interrupts. It's just we're going to gang up on the conservative. And if the conservative wasn't there, the show would be doing horrible numbers. Because he's the person, you only need one person telling the truth to beat four people that are telling a lie. Now let me tell you where the flaw in this whole argument is this. None of the people being indicted by Trump's DOJ are running against Donald Trump for president. So it will never be comparable to what Joe Biden did. Joe Biden had his Department of Justice literally prosecute his number one political opponent in the middle of a presidential race. Listen, in the middle of a presidential race where the opponent was beating this dude in every poll. Think about that. And you tell me if what's going on with Trump's DOJ is the same. None of the people who have been indicted are running for president against Donald Trump. Donald Trump has already won the presidency. He can't run again. He's won. Flawless victory. Now tell me how that is comparable to someone literally pulling some African, Southeast Asian freaking crap where you are literally attempting to throw your main number one political rival who at that time was beating you in every poll. You're trying to throw this guy in jail. It ain't the same, guys. It's not the same. And that's what Scott Jennings should have said. Name one person of this list of people who have been indicted who currently is running for president or who is expected to run for president against Donald Trump in 2028. Now, Donald Trump can't run in 2028, but if Donald Trump got Gavin Newsom indicted, I could understand that. All right, man, you're doing a lot. Because Gavin Newsom is the front runner in polling among Democrat voters for their choice for the presidential nomination in three more years. I would understand then. But you're talking about low-level political figures. Donald Trump gains nothing right? Donald Trump gains nothing from throwing these people in jail. He's already defeated these people. But let's keep going.
Two things. One, there was a third charge that the grand jury said no to. But also, I mean, this is, you probably will hear a lot about this as this proceeds. Probable cause is what you need.
Oh, and by the way, we're still waiting for Adam Mockler to go toe-to-toe and face off against Scott Jennings. I'm letting it play so you can see how this guy barely even said anything, but he spins this as if he's like one-on-one with Scott Jennings debating.
To get a charge, which is a very low bar. Beyond a reasonable doubt is what you need to actually convict. But to Alyssa's point, that may not be the point of the message that's being sent here.
Yeah, Donald Trump has done this with a few people. He directly calls out their name online on his Truth Social, and then within days, you see them either targeted, their show gets pulled off, they get indicted. And when it comes to Eric Siebert, you can sit here and argue that, Trump had nothing to do with this, but it's so clear that he was putting his thumb on the scale when he fired Eric Siebert, and then, 6 days before the statute of limitations are up, this new federal prosecutor is rushing this through. And I agree, we should let the process play out. It's fine to let it go through a grand jury, but can you at least concede that Trump was putting his thumb on the scale when he posted Comey's name, 4 days before Comey was indicted?
I don't think anyone is disputing that he thinks James Comey
Did he put his thumb on the scale,
is a bad person who deserves to be investigated, and if a grand jury so chooses,
Did Trump
indicted.
put his thumb on the scale, though?
He has never denied that. He's been very clear about it, has he not?
Isn't this all just...
Here's the thing. The DOJ has been investigating James Comey since before Trump won the election. The same way they've been the FBI was investigating Chauncey Billups and these guys before they got arrested. To think that an investigation could be launched and be on its way to trial in 4 days is just shows how ignorant this kid is. You can't launch. Trump can't on Thursday say, hey, I think you guys should look into this guy, and then on Saturday or on Monday, the guy's getting indicted. That's not how that works. Everyone in the Biden administration is being investigated. Do you know, and you know why let me tell you how you know they were doing something wrong. How many of these people did Joe Biden preemptively pardon before he left office? I'll wait. Joe Biden preemptively pardoned dozens of his family members, the people who worked with him, the people who were his advisors. He preemptively pardoned them because he knew that they were doing illegal things on his behalf. And he knew that when Donald Trump got in office, he was going to order the DOJ to investigate these people. So even if the DOJ does convict him, right? Even if the Trump's DOJ does convict him, guess what? They're already pardoned. But if you didn't do anything wrong, why is there a need for a preemptive pardon? That's my only question. If you didn't do anything wrong, what is the point of? Hold on, I'm writing this by Biden. If you didn't do anything wrong, why do you need to be preemptively pardoned? Right? All these people were pardoned by Biden. Now, James Comey may not have been preemptively pardoned, but what I know is if Biden felt the need to preemptively pardon anyone, that tells me that he knew that there was some illegal things that took place during his presidency. Get the hell out of here with that. And Mockler's just, oh, could you admit this? Could you admit that? But when Scott turns it around on him, He doesn't want to admit anything. He doesn't want to take accountability for anything.
Kind of exhausting for the American public. Like, Trump did run on we shouldn't weaponize the DOJ.
It's exhausting now.
No, it was exhausting when Biden did it. It was exhausting.
Oh, well, now we're exhausted.
No. I criticized it when Joe Biden did it.
Can I ask you?
But now he's choosing to do the exact same thing at a much grander scale, all while there are fewer jobs than there are people unemployed right now.
James Comey's not running for president.
I want to make clear
when he was
that
running for president.
He had a trial.
Can anyone point to one single example of President Joe Biden, privately or publicly, in any documented evidence of our reality, directing his Attorney General Merrick Garland to prosecute his political opponents, let alone protect his own son, who got indicted under his watch? When did
what?
Show me.
He pardoned him.
I want to hear an answer to that.
Show me the answer to when did he direct Merrick Garland to prosecute Donald Trump?
I want to hear an answer to that.
He publicly, in a Politico story.
Either any example of Joe Biden doing this, no example. Scott Jennings said, I don't know anything. No. And
It's
can I
not
just point
good.
out,
It ain't good.
I'm going to ask for them to point out either any example of Joe Biden doing this, no example. Scott Jennings said, I don't know anything. That's always your fallback. Donald Trump directly asked Pam Bondi.
There was a story.
Do you remember when Biden said, hey, Merrick,
pressuring
can you
people
go
to
after
do
this
it?
person? It didn't happen. You have no example.
And also,
It's literally in the news. I'm sorry.
That Biden was
I know you're
privately
like 12, but it happened.
You're a smart dude.
It's like it happened.
It was never reported. And also,
It was reported.
No, it was never reported that he told Merrick Garland to indict.
And
That was
Scott-
never reported. We know that. And also, I just have
That
to
was the
say,
reporting said or not?
Yes,
No,
there was a story.
The reporting said that he told
The
Merrick
point
Garland
of the
that.
story was that
Listen, here, see, and you guys say, "Oh, Brandon, you can't debate in this." Listen, man, I think of things that even Scott Jennings doesn't think of. Here's my thing: why would you be looking for an example of Joe Biden telling his DOJ, telling Merrick Garland to prosecute this or it wasn't Merrick Garland, but telling anybody in the DOJ to prosecute his political opponents? Guys, of course you're not gonna find an example of Biden doing that, right? Of course you're not gonna find of course, you're not going to find him telling Merrick Garland or Jack Smith to prosecute his political opponents. Joe Biden wasn't even running the freaking country. Listen to me. That's all Scott Jennings had to say as a mic drop. Joe Biden wasn't even running the country. So, of course, you're not going to see evidence of him instructing Merrick Garland and Jack Smith to prosecute his political opponents. If Joe Biden was running the country, he probably would have ordered them not to do that because he would have known that that was going to be a death knell in the coffin of his re-election hopes. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. See, but that's how you know that these arguments are in bad faith, because these same people were just on CNN talking about the extent of Biden's mental decline and how a lot of the news stations knew about it but didn't say anything. These guys were just criticizing, was it George Stephanopoulos or one of them, the guy who said he didn't see any decline in Biden, and then he wrote a book about how much of a decline he saw in Biden throughout his presidency? So of course you're not going to find evidence of him ordering anyone to do anything, because it was his staffers, I believe. I believe it was that wife of his. I believe it was his son, Hunter Biden. I believe in at many points, it might have been Kamala Harris. Biden was just the front man, and the people behind him were the ones actually controlling everything. They were the ones actually controlling everything. So yeah, you don't see Biden doing it. Biden wasn't doing his job, period. Biden was laying on the beach licking on ice cream cones his whole presidency. But I do believe what somebody said in the comments. I think Scott is just tired of them. They're literally being willfully obtuse, They're purposely missing the point because they know that that's going to make the audience who no longer even wants to watch them say, yeah, stick it to him, Trump. They just keep trying to argue these bad faith positions to hurt Trump, right? The whole thing it's just bad faith, man. You cannot compare Donald Trump's presidency to Joe Biden's presidency. Donald Trump is literally running laps around Joe Biden. They called Trump Hitler, but Donald Trump just ended the conflict in Gaza. They 1 second they say he's Hitler. Hitler hated the Jews. Then on the other side, they say he's a Zionist because he gives Israel money. And this bad faith argument crap, guys, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. People watch to learn. People watch to hear the different positions, right? People don't watch this crap to listen to people try to look for a gotcha moment, which is what Adam Mockler does.
Or unapologetic Democrats, but it's more than that. The Democratic brand is two things right now. It's a lot of things, but it's both risk averse and it's very, very finger waggy. So all of our politicians are incredibly risk averse. So they're not out there taking risks or trying to do new things. I mean, they're playing it very, very safe. Even as much as I love Kamala Harris and I thought she did well on her campaign, she was very risk averse during all of that. But on the other side of that, while they're being risk averse, they're also just like purity testing everybody and finger wagging them. I mean, I'm a young dude. I like a little bit of like edge in my politicians. I think most young dudes like an edgy politician, not somebody who's out there being, you know, super scripted and tested and everything. So all this comes together to create an environment where, like, I had a young friend the other day who's pretty liberal say that the Democratic Party feels quote unquote suffocating at times. And I think that's a good way to put it.
It's that and academic a lot of times. The simplicity is missing in the message. Donald,
guys, they say, right? They say the Democrat Party is risk averse, right? They say that. But they don't realize how much of a risk the Democrat Party is actually taking when they are listening to people who have an argument, a position that makes absolutely no sense, and taking that position and saying, we're going to make this position a platform that we're going to run on to try to take back the White House. That is the biggest risk you could ever take. You know who also doesn't think that, do you know who also thinks that more risk should be taken? Kids, when they think about their parents. If your dad is like, man, look, I got to miss your basketball game because I got to go to work. In a kid's mind, they're like, Dad, how could you miss my basketball game? This basketball means the world to me, right? Because the kid doesn't understand that the job is what's going to put food on the table. The job is what enables this kid to play basketball. The job is more important than the basketball game in all reality. But to a kid, their priorities are totally different. See? And that's what's going on. Adam Mockler is a 22-year-old YouTuber. If his YouTube channel disintegrates tomorrow, his parents, if they're able, they'll step up and they'll help him and make sure his feet don't hit the ground. But that's a lot different from all these people who are a part of the Democrat Party who work in 1, 2, sometimes 3 jobs. They got kids, they have a mortgage, they have rent, they have car notes, car insurance, all this stuff. Nobody, in my opinion, is more detached from reality than a 22-year-old millionaire who made their millions by sensationalizing a group of kids their age or younger. These people have never even experienced the real world yet. Because their ability to generate money by tapping into a niche keeps them from experiencing that. It's like, remember the show remember the movie Richie Rich? Richie Rich was a millionaire. He was a gazillionaire. He was very smart and he was good at baseball. But if Richie Rich got put in a real world situation and didn't have his millions to bail him out, Richie Rich was at a disadvantage when it came to operating in the real world. But the Democrats are now taking kids who are basically in this same situation and they're lifting them up as leadership. But if I talk to Adam Mockler and I say, well, do you know what it's like to like balance a checkbook? Do you know, let's give you $10,000 a month and see if you can manage all this shit you got going on. JP Trucks, Trump is Richie Rich. No, because Trump is not 22 years old. Trump is a multi-billionaire who's had decades. Trump has had 5 or 6 decades of business and real world experience that factors into every decision he makes. Trump wasn't president at 22. Trump wasn't even commenting on politics at 22. He was learning. He was working. He was going to build himself up in the world, and that's how you learn. Trump built buildings in one of the toughest real estate markets on earth. Trump built skyscrapers in New York City when the mob was at the height of its power. If there's one person I know who knows how to make a deal, who knows how to work with people and see things from other people's perspective, it's Donald Trump. And that's inarguable. But JP, whatever your name is, he represents the group of people who look at Adam Mockler and say, yeah, that 22-year-old kid is going to tell me, a 38-year-old man, how he's going to know what's best for me. And that's what these people are saying. That's why these people are absolutely delusional. They're looking at people like Adam Mockler to direct them and tell them what's best for them. And then they wonder why they're unhappy. They wonder why they're broke. Dude, you're tripping. There's no person on earth. There's no person on earth who, if they're using their brain, thinks a 22-year-old YouTuber can give them advice on how to live their life as like middle-class Americans. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna ask Gemini. Let me see. Can a 22-year-old YouTuber give a middle-aged working class? Wait, hold on. Let me start over. Can a 22-year-old who made his millions off of social media give a middle-aged working class American solid advice on how to become successful, raise his family, and take care of most, if not all, of his responsibility? The short answer is no. He could offer some solid advice, but it would likely be incomplete and need to be carefully filtered. This is Gemini AI. No, he could offer some solid advice, but it would likely be incomplete and need to be carefully filtered. Where the advice might be solid, some principles such as risk-taking, innovation, monetization, and value creation, financial literacy, and leveraging technology. Where the advice would likely fall short is raising a family responsibly, career trajectory and industry, starting position. The younger man may have a different starting point. The verdict: a 22-year-old can provide some inspirational and practical advice on modern wealth building and risk tolerance. However, the middle-aged American would need to act as an effective editor, taking the core principles, find a niche, and translate them into actions that fit his existing life structure, responsibility, and industry. Long story short, Adam Mockler gets his money off of YouTube clicks and ad revenue. So if Adam Mockler tells you you should walk in and curse your boss out if he won't give you paid time off for Christmas, I don't think you should listen to that. Because there's even rules that Adam Mockler has to follow or he will find himself in the poorhouse. But he'll be quick to tell you, hey, break your rules. Hey, the Democrat Party should take more risk. But when the Democrat Party lost the election, when Mockler was only 19 years old or 20 years old, when the Democrat Party lost the election to Trump in 2016, when Mockler was 12, where was Mockler at that point? See, but this is what you have in the Democrat Party. Every idiot, every young cat has a say, and it's put on the same level as people who are experienced. We want free stuff. Give us free stuff. And let me tell you something. Anytime you are in a situation where what the youth are saying is the same as what the elderly are saying, you know you are in trouble. When your views match the views of your grandma, you know you're in trouble. Either grandma's lying, which I think is the case in a lot of these with a lot of these liberals. They just pretend like they agree with this stuff because they know it'll never happen. Either someone's lying, right? Or both parties are delusional. That's all this could be. Either someone's lying or both parties are out of their freaking mind. Yes, Adam Mockler can have an idea, but the chances that me and Adam Mockler are going to agree on all of his ideas are very slim. And that's the problem with the liberals. They pretend like they all agree on this stuff, but they only pretend to agree because they hate Trump. That's the one thing they agree on. We all hate Trump. So they'll sit up and pretend like they agree on things. What does a 75 or 65-year-old woman know about transgender ideology? Let's be real. She's married, been married 40 years to her husband. They were high school sweethearts. She met her husband when she was 16. Her husband was 22 years old. Now she in the street talking about, oh, a 22-year-old dates a 60-year-old is a pedophile. Oh, so your husband was a pedophile when he met you. No, I'm not saying that. It was a different, see what I'm saying? This type of thing. Now, I'm not saying a 22-year-old should date a 16-year-old, but I'm saying these are the type of inconsistencies in thought that you have to be able to entertain as a Democrat. I was literally just arguing. I was talking to a friend of mine. She was like, Elvis married his wife when she was 14. And he was 21 or something. I said, first of all, that's not true. Elvis married his wife when she was 21 years old. But second of all, my grandfather met my grandma when she was like 16 and bro was like 28. Way back in the G. It was a different time. And what I'm not going to do is retroactively try people in cases of PDF, whatever, or essay. I'm not doing that. Because when I talked to my grandma, how did you meet him? What? Oh, it was love at first sight. I saw him, he was on the Navy base. I was at a store by the Navy base, and that's where I met him. But these are the type of things you have to do just to be a liberal. You have to pretend to have a problem with every single thing, whether it happened in 1901 or if it happened in 2025. It's just a horrible It's just a horrible it's just a horrible way to live. But that's what happens when you want everything handed to you. Because they got these people thinking that if they agree to co-sign stupidity, they're gonna get free stuff. And if you guys watched my show last night, you saw that. Check this out. These are the people Adam Mockler. See, these are the type of old people who Adam Mockler is trying, who listen to him. Walk off your damn job so an illegal immigrant can take it from you and see how that works. But Brandon Johnson is jobs in some where support. Come on. Oh, I'm going to answer that.
REDUP. The mayor of Chicago. But there.
Played on Chicago. Hold on. I want to play you guys this Looney Tunes lady. I want to play you guys this crazy chick who really thinks she's talking about a boycott, right? She's telling you how broke she is. She don't got no money. She don't want to work. So her suggestion to you is to walk off your damn job so she could get free shit. If that's the truth, if that's the truth, if I'm lying. These dudes just national, federal, right there. Of in something $1,000 America. Hold on, sorry.
Feel like we need term limits for the Supreme Court. So basic income.
Wait, I'm not making this up. You can see it. Check this out. Just like I can see it, you can see it. But I'm the only one who's pissed off about it. You're not mad enough yet. And you might not get mad enough before it's too late. And you be like, it'd be like in the UK where you say something negative about an immigrant and they come to your house and arrest you.
Here's what I want out of a general strike. Universal health care is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable at this point. Universal basic income. Yes. Every place that has done it has seen a more productive, happier populace. And that will be because 3, we tax billionaires at a 95% rate. And if you think that's outlandish, go back in history. We used to tax them hard enough that they couldn't become billionaires. And we need to do that again. Period. I also feel like we need term limits for the Supreme Court. We need term limits for senators. We need term limits for House representatives. We need the cronyism out. We also need to have a robust Voting Rights Act passed. We need a robust new.
Let me listen. These people are the type of people, say you plant them in checkers. They're losing, they want to flip over the whole table. They want to rip up the checkerboard. They want to rip up the chessboard. She only wants those things because she's not winning. I promise you, when Joe Biden was in office, this lady wasn't asking for any of these things. We need to pack the Supreme Court. We need term limits for congressmen, senators, and House representatives, and all this stuff. Yeah, so get the term limits. Let the Republicans start winning more seats than the Democrats. Should be saying, nah, we need to get rid of those term limits. We need to let the Congress people stay in forever. But there are term limits. Every couple of years, you get to vote for who your representative is in the House or in the Senate. That's a term limit. These people are just getting reelected. You can't be mad because a group of people want to keep reelecting someone that they like. That's called democracy. Right? If you truly care about democracy, why am I barred from electing this person if I really like him? There should be no term limits if you really want it to be democratic. But they only want these things when they don't win the election. When they win, all's well and good, we're good. When they don't win, oh my God, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. But these are the delusional type of people who listen to 22-year-old kids like Adam Mockler tell you that in order for the United States to prosper, you need to give everybody free money. This guy can't even balance a checkbook, but he knows what's needed for the financial prosperity, the economic prosperity of the United States.
In this country. And this is really important, and you should care about this. Because if this happens, I hope, this would change so many things in this country for the better. Think about the No Kings protest that happened a few days ago, right? You know, it's nice. You know, about 7 million people showed up, I believe. That's great. But, you know, it's more of like a parade, right? It doesn't actually accomplish the changes that we need in this country. A general strike would literally threaten the collapse of the economy in this country, which means that all these politicians would have to listen to us.
Okay, so let me I want to tell you guys something that's crazy, right? So this is cognitive dissonance. When Trump is in office and the economy is doing bad, they're screaming how horrible of a president Donald Trump is, because just look at the state of the economy, right? But their solution to beating Donald Trump is to tank the American economy, right? Put millions of people out of work, cause thousands of businesses to fail, and that's how we're going to fix the problem of inequality in America. Just think about that. I want you guys to truly, seriously think about that. Their solution for fixing the economy is to tank the economy, put millions of people out of work, put thousands of businesses out of business, send millions of people spiraling into homelessness, debt, right? In abject poverty. And that's how they're going to fix things. They're going to hurt you. They're going to hurt you to make their life better. Think about that. Think about that. The only person saying that a strike is the answer is a nigga without a job. Sorry, I don't mean to use the N-word. The only person saying that a strike is the answer is someone who either doesn't care about their job or they don't have a job. That lady is old. She talked about how broke she was. Yeah, of course. She probably ain't ever made $100,000 in a year. So of course she doesn't care about a job. This guy's a kid. He looks like he lives in his parents' house. I mean, honestly, think about that. They're going to fix the American system by destroying the economy. How many millions of people have to be homeless for America to finally look the way they want it to look? Boy, and they want to do this after they've voted for a guy who let in 20 million illegal immigrants who gonna go work those jobs soon as you walk off of them. They literally created a situation that prevents them from using the power of the workforce to influence political operation or administrative change. Think about that. You let 20 million illegal immigrants into the country, and now you want to talk about having a strike, a worker strike. Pedro and Jose and them will gladly go work your damn job. Gladly. Why don't they just come to California? Why don't they just come to California and see what happens when you let people like them run your state government? Gavin Newsom has run California into the dirt, and now they want to make him president. These people are nothing more than experts at failing. You guys know I'm telling the truth. Give me a 1 in the comments. Give me a 1 in the comments if you agree with what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm saying is facts. Let's fix America by destroying America. Let's let 20 million illegal criminal aliens into the country and then walk off our jobs so they could walk onto our jobs. Guys, You can't make this level of stupidity. You cannot make it up. You cannot make up this level of idiocy. I'm sorry. You cannot make up this level of idiocy.
Go get a job.
And it's really hard to think that there are people out here who are really this dumb. It is hard to believe that there are people out there that are really this dumb. But they're there. They're out there. Ice blockade. Did you see this video right here? I'm going to play this video. Shout out to Greg Foreman. He didn't cook on this video. But I want you guys to see this. There is a podcast that's run by this guy named Caleb Hammer. And he is a financial auditor. And he sits down with people and he talks about their personal finances with them. He interviewed this woman, man. Man, when I tell you, after listening to this woman talk, you will understand exactly why the only choice for president was Donald Trump and why you should damn near never vote for a liberal again. Because these are the people who vote liberal, man. These are the people who vote for liberals. So it's a lady. She has a boyfriend who's not really her boyfriend. All this crazy stuff. But I just want you to hear this.
Work 40 hours a week, 9 to 5.
I don't want to.
There it is. Government, Kansas, Missouri, take away her food stamps right now. Did you just hear that? Take them away. I'm not even kidding.
I will
You
say,
don't want to? F you. That
no,
is not
I really
a
don't want
choice.
to.
Huh?
I don't want to.
Then that is not fair. That is not a choice. Subsidies should be there and even more for those who cannot. You can, and you're choosing not to because you do not want to. And I knew the more and more I pushed on it, we would find out that you're doing this because you want to. Straight up, not because you can. Using ADHD and autism? Yes. Is he able to communicate with other people?
Yes.
Okay, then I don't want to hear it. Come on. He's every Gen Beta ever. Gen Alpha, Gen Beta. He is every single one of them born.
Maybe.
They're all getting diagnosed with this. If he's able to communicate with people and he's able to do things, and you're right, he probably didn't need the accommodations that you're thinking based on everything you're telling us. The more information is unlocked, the more we're finding out he could probably just go to school.
Well,
her kid, so basically this part, her kid, she doesn't want to go to work because her kid has ADHD, and I guess he's borderline autistic, which no one believed, and the interviewer didn't believe it either, right? But she didn't want him to go to traditional school because the traditional school was like, the regular school was like, look, for the things that are wrong with him, we don't need to give him special accommodation. We already have the resources to handle a kid who's autistic with ADHD. That wasn't good enough for her. So she doesn't want to go to work. She wants to live off the government so that she could be there for her kids. That was her words. Her words. She wants to be there for her kids. It's absolutely asinine. And actually, I want to switch it over here because this is better. This is way better. This is where you can see the timestamps. So she wants to be there for her kid. Okay. Let's go here.
Could go make more, and yet we subsidize.
Oh, wait. I'm going to go back real quick, guys. Sorry. Intro. Cole Parter. Here we go.
Having to now choose going.
You still have to actually keep them on for about a month, 2 months for like a decently while. It takes a long time. Relationship.
Outside of that, it's actually wonderful.
You know?
He does flooring, but
what's
he's
his job?
done whole. I am actually kind of in debt because of the past election.
If Kamala was president as well, would you be saying the exact same thing? That because of the last election, you have lost money?
I'm actually really good with numbers. And I get told all the time that I should have been an accountant. And as much as I don't want to.
Why are you crying about being an accountant?
Because I don't like the job. It's got to be better somewhere else. It has to be better anywhere else.
With a refreshed look and upgraded features, download DollarWise, the best budgeting app there is. And until October 27th, you can lock in the first 3 months at over 30% off, or upgrade to annual and save an additional 25% and get a free signed cookbook by me. Download the DollarWise budget.
So I'm a hairstylist. I own a salon, and we're building out some stuff.
They are curled?
Yes, they are curled.
I see. Yeah, that's what a hairstylist would do.
It
Very
is.
good.
I'm trying to perm it.
Is that a multi-week process?
It is. Your hair's not healthy enough to do it.
Huh?
Yet.
Yours?
Yep.
You said yours.
Yeah. Talking about me. My hair.
You talk to yourself in the yours?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
I have third-person conversations all the time.
Hopefully not out loud.
I work for myself, so kind of.
But there are people in the chair. If you start having conversations with yourself while you're doing their hair, they might be afraid that you're the one with razors and scissors.
They are just as crazy as I am, actually. It's fantastic.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very good. So you must be making good money, business owner, I'm hoping?
Not as much.
Mm-hmm.
We've got kids at home, and they're kind of the priority.
No, okay, when you say we, see, I don't know. Are we talking we as in you?
Me, yes, sorry. I have kids at home, and they are my priority. So
that's fine.
I make so that I can show up for them. I choose to make a little bit less.
To help? So it's just you.
It is just me.
Okay, good. How many? Well, not good, but whatever. It is what it is. We're dealing with it. How old are they? How many kids?
2, 9 and 11.
So, what's going on?
So I am actually kind of in debt because of the past election.
Wait.
I know it's kind of crazy.
Well, at least you acknowledge it. What the do you possibly mean? I don't know anything that happened the day of election or inauguration that was like all of a sudden, here's a loan from the federal government. Please have it.
So most of my clients are affected by how the economy works, incling
Well, that's everything in the service-based economy.
Including my boyfriend's work. He's in construction.
Oh, you have a boyfriend?
I do.
Okay.
And his income has been affected drastically. And
where is he in construction?
What do you mean?
What kind of construction does he do?
He mostly does flooring, but
And what's
he's
his job?
done whole home remodels.
Mhm.
He does some handyman work here and there. But a lot of that work has slowed down as well.
That's interesting because if I'm not mistaken, especially when home prices were soaring as materials were a little more expensive, people also stopped renovating as quickly. And that was in the high inflation time. Wouldn't that have impacted his job as well about 3-4 years ago?
So,
and then got a little better for a while and, you know?
For a little while, yes. And we were kind of doing okay at that point. Now we do live separately and we handle our finances all separately.
You've broken up.
No, we just live separately. We have
You say now?
Yes.
You were together?
We are together
No, you live together.
for a short time.
It's usually indicative of a great relationship. Moving out.
We did not agree on how some of the debt situations were being handled, and to keep
Also indicative of an incredible relationship.
outside of that, it's actually wonderful.
So she's just basically batshit crazy. Her boyfriend lived with her for a short time. He moved out because he basically doesn't want to manage finances with her. So he left, right? And she's like, well, outside of that, everything is great. How's everything great when you're so bad with money that your boyfriend doesn't want to live with you, but you got 2 kids to take care of, but you're complaining that Trump is the reason why you can't make money? Girl, you and him lived together when Biden was in office. You still weren't making any money. But now let's blame Trump in the presidential election. These are the people screaming for UBI.
Sure, outside of the things where we agree on life matters, it's great. Yeah, it sounds like a nice friends with benefits.
But to keep each other from getting tied to each other's debts, we decided to live separately.
What do you mean? You weren't married?
Yes.
Living together doesn't all of a sudden make it a legally binding thing.
Common law comes into play.
Are you in like common law marriage?
No. Because
Okay.
and a big reason to avoid that is, or a big way to avoid that is not living together. We don't share a mailing address.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be insinuated or taken as we are living together and presenting as a married couple, because we aren't and we don't.
So going above and beyond on that. Yes. So last election.
Yes.
I'm a little confused on exactly what you mean by that. Now,
So basically, bro dumped her. She just can't accept the fact that the relationship is dead, and it's probably her fault, right? But this you got to go watch this. But you guys know she's on food stamps. You know she's getting welfare. Cause why? Not because she can't work, but because she doesn't want to work. But she does own a hair salon, but it's not really a salon. It's a salon suite, a room where she does hair, so she could be there for her kids. So an able-bodied woman who can stand for hours doing hair does not want to go to work so she could be there for her disabled kids who really aren't that disabled. So you, as the taxpayer, you know it, you have to pay. You have to pay.
Could go make more, and yet we subsidize them. Is that job? And you're going to allow yourself to just make $1,000 a month?
Specifically, the school that they were in tried to tell me that his disability was not a disability, and
Maybe
they
it's
wouldn't
not.
make accommodations for
What's
it.
his disability?
So he's ADHD and autistic.
And is this officially diagnosed via a doctor? Then how would the school say that? I'm having a hard time believing this.
I was
if you
asked-
had a diagnosis from a doctor, I don't think a school would say that.
Nope, they did. They didn't say he didn't have it. They said it's not a disability, and we don't make accommodations for it. So I refuse to let their education fall. So we've been doing school online at home.
Is that going to be better for an ADHD?
Actually, he did really well with it.
Then why you send him back?
There are some holes that were actually missed in his kindergarten, first grade years.
Okay, well, he's in school, and if he has ADHD autism, the disability that you'd go run and save, I thought he was missing a f***ing leg.
No, God,
and
no.
He was rolling down hills. So he has ADHD and autism.
Yes, but if
talk
he's-
about f***ing every child born today. Like, I'm sorry.
But if he's
that's not a job that...
These things are so common in today's society. Go to any school, there are entire programs, classrooms for kids who have ADHD and autism. She just doesn't want to work. And her little precious super angel of joy, her specific kid, because he's just more important than every other kid on the planet, he requires that mommy be there 24 hours a day just to make sure that he's able to repeatedly slam the door in peace, or whatever autistic kids do. She needs the American taxpayer to pay her way.
prevents you. That's not a thing that prevents you from going and getting a job.
No,
he's
but
not
if
sitting
he
there
has-
stroking it out in the middle of school.
But if he's got problems and I've got to go get him or go help deal with him.
Well, then yes, obviously you try to have a good job, good boss.
Exactly.
But you are failing them by making $1,000 a month because you're trying to build your business that is a failure.
And that
that
doesn't-
is your choice. Yes, yeah. You will find a lot of bosses, a lot of businesses. The business that my families work for, you know, my business specifically, if anyone has an issue, of course, they should go deal with it. That is what would happen. You can find jobs. Not every job is some massive corporate overlord, bank teller, whatever.
You'd be surprised at how many there are. And
no, of course there are some. I'm not saying that too. But you
I
live
have-
in a major metro area of the United States. I'm not you saying you can't get a job and you're gonna allow yourself to just make $1,000 a month while having 2 kids is not acceptable.
I didn't say I can't get a job.
Then go get a fucking job.
I'm gonna show up for my kids. I'm gonna choose to make a little bit less so that I can show up for my kids.
She's gonna
Sometimes showing up is
She's gonna choose to make a little bit less. No, you're a lazy bum. Wob thunk, just to be clear, she wasn't divorced. She had a boyfriend who is not the father of either one of her children, but all of a sudden the children are the biggest priority. So now she can't work so she could stay home with the kids. It's BS. But I'm only showing you this video to show you how ignorant these people are today. And when you peel back the layers on the banana, right, you see that everything they scream they want, whether it's UBI, free healthcare, this, that, the third, dude, it's all goes back to a personal ick. Some little personal reason why they think that they should be able to live for free or at someone else's expense. That's what it all goes back to.
They need resources.
They do.
And you are not providing.
They have everything that they need.
You are choosing not to work, so the taxpayer is giving you food stamps.
I'm not choosing not to work.
Yes, you are.
I do work.
Come on, you make $1,000 a month via your choice.
I do work.
You could go make more.
I could go make more, but then I wouldn't be able to be there
If someone is
for my
saying they
kids.
could go make more and yet we subsidize them, is that fair? If you can, I want to subsidize the out of people who cannot.
Because I don't want to be absent from my kids' life because they don't have another
for
parent.
Their life. If you're working 9 to 5, you're not. Dude, there's single families all over the place and people can have a good life. You're working.
Bro, look at how the white woman, and this ain't to be racist, look at how the white woman tricked all the other women out of being able to stay at home and take care of their family. Women's rights, we want to work, we want all this, right? And now that system has failed, now that they realize, hey, it really sucks trying to be a man or compete with men in the workforce. Now they want the taxpayer to pay for them to live at home for free. Ain't that about nothing? Ain't that about nothing? What happened to feminism? What happened to women's rights and all this mess they was talking about? Now she's mad. Now she's angry because she got what she wanted. She got what her sister thought was best for her. Now she wants us to pay for her even though she's able-bodied.
20 hours a week. You're not working 40. I don't want to hear it. If you're working 60, 80, you never see them, yes, I would be on your side. You're working 20.
Well, it was
You are not able to
80.
provide the resources required for them to have a good life. You will not be able to retire by the time they are unconsensually born, by the way. They did not really have a choice.
For sure
by
not.
the time they are 40 trying to make their life, mommy's going to be like, oh, I can't live. They're going to put their life on hold to support you.
Absolutely not.
Oh, this is what everyone says.
Absolutely not.
You say you don't want that? What do you think they're going to do? They will. They will. They will be morally obligated. They will. Not working it or not. Like, even though I really love my job, flashing hole to get some money, put yourself in that position.
Probably close to $1,500 to $1,600 to pay all the bills and then gas. And it was like 0.68.
Well, that rounds up to about a 1. If you want every mathematical form worth of your income. It's not a math game of 1.
Sure, I made it, but okay.
And your payments pass because it's all ratio. If you made $1 million a year, you could
driving from the airport to where I stayed and breakfast in here.
It is not. You will lose money. Let's just be clear. No, you will lose money. If your business is failing because the economy's turned down, you're gonna think you're gonna lease out 7 units.
The hope that
Neil Gray.
Yes.
You really wanted to lease out units in 2015? Plus 3 months for just $9.99.
I want to show you guys this part where she talks about her business.
A lot to manage.
Price comparison in the area.
Yeah.
What research have you done? Price comparison in the area. It's like that, but
cut hair. I just don't have
more wrong than you're willing to admit.
Most of my services are between $45 and $75.
Okay, listen. I want you guys to hear this part. Hold on, 1332. Okay, this is the part where she talks about her hair salon, right? And she's basically gonna tell him exactly why her business is a failure. You're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this.
I think 13 hair salons in town, and I am on the lower side of average price wise. Haircuts.
You're making me even more skeptical.
Something's
wrong.
Haircuts in my town range between $45 and $75. I'm at for haircuts at the $45 range. Some color services.
Something's wrong because but people will still get their haircut.
Yes.
That is an objective reality.
Yes.
They will go to the cheaper one. If they're not going to you, there is something more wrong than you're willing to admit.
Most of my services are color services.
Okay, well, yeah, people are going to cut back on that.
Exactly. And that's where the majority of my income comes from.
Business.
Help me do that? I don't know how to do that.
Focus on cutting hair. You just already answered that yourself. What do you mean? You just answered that yourself.
I do cut hair. I just don't
Focus
have.
on
I don't
that.
have any just haircut clients.
That's what we're focusing on building. That's what you're doing any kind of meta advertising on, social media posting.
Yeah, I don't do a whole lot of that either.
Well, yes. Why would you do that as a business, huh? It's almost like the things that you immediately try to blame aren't what's actually holding your business back. It's almost like you are not serving the clientele on what the market is demanding. Who would have thought?
I struggle to remember.
Guy, this girl thinks that. Let me tell you, I'm a diagnose this chick. This lady has delusions of grandeur. She watches old 1950s movies. She sees pinup girls and stuff, and she thinks that's her. So she believes that her looks will lead her to finding a man that can take care of all of her responsibilities, and just put her in the kitchen, basically. Only problem is she's fallen in love with probably a drug-addicted construction worker, and he's hitting the back of that thing. So she doesn't want to let him go. She wants to keep it open for him while living for free off the government. This chick is basically saying, I am a hairstylist who knows how to cut and color hair, but I can't compete with the other businesses around me because all I want to do is cut and color. But I don't want to just cut and I don't want to just color. I only want to cut if I also get to color the hair. So where she could just be doing haircuts without color, she loses those clients because she doesn't want to do any haircuts unless she's going to get to color their hair as well. So what it is she says her haircut is $45, but for the color, she's probably charging another $30 or $40. So she's really just probably charging $85 a haircut, and she doesn't want to work for anything less than that. That's what's going on here. She doesn't want to work for anything less than like $85, which is the cost of the cut with the color. She's just a degenerate. She's just an entitled loser. An entitled loser. But let me tell you what's going to happen. She doesn't have to take any of this guy's advice. You know why? Because she's going to vote for the next Democrat candidate who's going to promise her UBI. Yeah, baby, you ain't got to do nothing. What you making, $1,000 to $1,500 a month? Yeah, Big Daddy government going to give you $2,000 more to put on top of that. And if you go through the laundry list of Democrat supporters, you're going to find tons of people like that. They not working not because they can't. They're not working because they don't want to. They simply don't want to go to work. They got some type of bullcrap business. You know, if it ain't hair, it's t-shirts, selling t-shirts and selling waters in the street and stuff like that. And they want the government to fund their lifestyle while they pretend to be working. I knew a guy, bro. Actually, I don't even know the guy. I know the girl. I know a girl who's with a bum, right? He's some guy who sells some type of water, juices, or whatever that. Hold on, I want to ask my sister what this loser sells. This guy. Hold on. Okay, she's probably asleep. But basically, this girl I know, she's dating some loser. He sells something like candles or juice or some bull crap. But basically, it's just some stuff that he gets and he like pours it in a bag and then he sits at different locations with a table selling it. So what he does is he goes and he sleeps with women, right? And when the women start liking him, he recruits them to work at his tables, his booths, selling this crap. and they work for free because they're like in love with the dude, and he sells them this idea that he's going to be a millionaire and they're going to be a part of the business on the ground floor, blah, 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 blah. So he leaves them at a table. He leaves like several women at like several different tables all over LA County, and they sit and sell this stuff that he sells, and they basically work like 8-9 hour shifts for free just because he's screwing them. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go over here and work this other booth, and I need you to be here to work this one. But really, he just has another chick at this one. And I ain't hating on him. You know, don't hate the player, hate the game. But this is what's going on. These are grifters. These are grifters. She's a grifter. She ain't got no money, but her hair is straight laid. I'm talking about your hair, you have no money, but look at this chick's hair. This chick's hair looks like she came out of a shampoo commercial. Tresemme, ooh la la. That's how this looks. But she doesn't want to do anyone else's hair like this. So she has the ability, but she just refuses to use it. Yeah, she needs to be kicked off welfare. And these are the people going out to the No King screaming, Trump's a dictator. He doesn't want me to live for free. That's all it's about, guys. That's all it's freaking about at the end of the day. Yo, I'm saying, to be fair, she probably did it herself. But what I'm saying is, why doesn't she do it? Why isn't she willing to do it to someone else so she can make some money? And if you want to charge, I don't know where this chick lives, but guess what? If you want to charge and only do cut and color, you need to move to LA, my friend. You need to move to New York. You need to move to Florida. You need to move to Texas, where people do that stuff every week. Don't be in middle America talking about all I want to do is cut and color. That's not how that works. But hold on one second. I got somebody. But yeah, this is just, but you'll find people like this all the time. I have family members like this. You probably have family members like this or friends like this. If it ain't exactly how they want it, they don't want to do it. And then even if it is exactly how they want it, they still don't want to do it. I have a friend whose daughter is a CNA, right? She literally works for like a service, like where they call you, it's like a call-in job. Like you're on a board, you're on a website, and it's a registry. And so you work when you want to. You go in, you look at a list of jobs that are available for that day, and you just pick one. Bro, tell me why this girl literally got put on the do not return list for every single job that she went to as a CNA. And it was always the same complaint. They hating on me. They hating on me. Then she finally found a job and she loved it. Oh, you get to make your own schedule. The people up there are cool as hell. Bro, she worked there for less than 2 weeks, was fired. I asked her, why you get fired? I thought you loved the job. Oh, no, it was cool at first, but then they was hating on me. But you know what never stopped? Her welfare check. You know what never stopped? Her food stamps for the kids she got. You know what never stopped? Her Section 8. All we're doing is creating a generation of entitled bastards who don't want to work, and they don't work because the government is always going to be there to catch them if they fall. We incentivize this welfare-dependent mindset. And I love that Trump is cutting these losers off. The people who need it, give it to them. But these able-bodied folks who walking out on jobs and cursing out their boss because they know they can go over to the county office and get the emergency food stamps and all this mess, those people need to go. If you didn't bid on it in the past 3 years, you can't get back on it. Was what an overnight success. Anyway, hey, thank you guys for watching this. Let me get these super chats. Sticks and Stones LA, salute to the bro. Thank you for the $5 holler, my brother. I appreciate that. Wop Funk, towards the subscription. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. I'm going to be doing some traveling soon. So the more love y'all show me, I greatly appreciate it. Did you get any loans? Loans for what? I didn't get any loans. What are you talking about? Get any loans for what? Oh, you talking to somebody else. All right, but thank all y'all for watching us. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, take care of yourselves, but most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.